there, Libra. Welcome to your February 2024 General Tarot reading. It's Rena here. So, doing things a little bit differently. Just going to pick 4 cards. I think I'll just pick off the top of this pile. Keep it easy for myself. Oh my gosh. 2 Major Arcana cards. All right. Just mixing things up a little bit. Ooh, you have some wonderful cards. All of them are very dynamic cards. And remember too that in February, astrologically, there is such emphasis on the sign of Aquarius, which for you is the 5th house, and this is a house in astrology that Leo rules. It's about love and creativity. You're down with that. It's about pleasure, fun things to do, things that like hobbies and downtime. You're down with that too. The first card that I have here is the Judgment card. Now, Libra is connected with the law as a sign, but I would say, especially if that's the profession that you decided to go into in some way, but this is the other side of it. In other words, from the perspective of maybe waiting for some kind of legal decision to be decided. By the way, you may see this card and it looks very much like Rider-Waite, but it is not the actual Rider-Waite deck. You can see those bums are female bums. I'm trying to be British and Canadian here. I normally say booties, butts. And this is like a deck that they say they're all female images, but they look like Rider-Waite. It looks just almost exactly like Rider-Waite, but it's more updated and more diverse. But you know something? I do think there's a couple of dudes on this deck. I mean, there are some androgynous figures, but there's some ones that really look like men. So I'm not entirely sure. This is called Modern Witch Tarot Deck. But I do like the fact that it is very faithful to Rider-Waite because it's familiar to a lot of people. And you can see that there is this heavenly figure here. So this is a card that is associated with Pluto. Astrologically, it's connected to the planet Pluto, which it has this karmic feel to it. So you could say like cause and effect, like getting the just desserts from the energy that you've put out in the past. And it's funny because I was going to say the Tower card is part of that too. But I just to riff on a few more things about the Judgment card too, is that this can be a card of rebirth. And certainly for Libra individuals, you had just several months ago the first eclipse in your sign that was a solar eclipse, okay? And so even through the end of 2023, you may have been dealing with some kind of new issue that came up in your life that was triggered by that eclipse. And now that we're in a new year and we're entering the month of February, going through the month of February, that begins eclipse season because in March, there is another Libra eclipse, and this one is a lunar eclipse. So that can bring something to culmination in your life. And eclipses can be faded events, events that were meant to happen at exactly the time that they're happening to spur you on a certain track or maybe take you away from a certain track to another thing so that you can experience something that you need to experience. And I'm not going to get too much into that because that's a whole other can of worms. But the point is that this is perhaps why I got 2 major arcanas back to back, which really do talk about significant change, because even the month before the eclipses officially take place, you might find that things are happening in your life that are very um, surprising, and that they change for you, because the eclipse will occur in your the lunar eclipse will occur in your first house, but also it will oppose your seventh house of relationships. The sun will be there with the by the sun. Okay, so anyway, so then we have the Tower card, and to me, it's so funny because I was thinking to myself when I was trying to find these astrological associations, when I was learning about the tarot, I wanted to make those associations with astrology because that's my primary um, study, if you will. And I found that, well, I'm not quite, tell you the truth, I'm not quite sure. I think the tower is associated with Mars, but I'm not quite sure. But I really was disappointed that it wasn't Pluto, because Pluto can have the effect of the tower. And so the tower card can be that something, what came into my mind was something comes crashing down in your life, but it doesn't have to be that dramatic. It can simply mean that something has to give, that doing things in the same way isn't going to cut it anymore. And for Libra, you may find a recurrent theme of trying to placate somebody in your life. Yes, it can certainly be a significant other, but it can be a parent, and you could even be a middle-aged person and have this toxic relationship with a parent because they're still trying to control you and you're not setting boundaries. It could even be with a child. That's a little bit tricky because the child, a child sometimes, depending on how they are raised, they may assume that certain things are okay because they've been tolerated and they were never told otherwise. So, I mean, I would say that it really depends on, um, you know, individual circumstances with adult children. But in general, it can be anybody in your life. A boss. A boss could totally be what it is. And the point is that the Tower card can be that something in your outer world just implodes. It can no longer function anymore. But the danger, and that could be a relationship too, that a marriage that neither party has been really addressing the issues, and then things fester underneath, and then finally there's like a coup de grace, something that just kind of like puts it over the edge. But also, and by the way, you're going to have a solar eclipse in your seventh house of committed partnerships. So that could be like, a lot of fresh energy pouring into that relationship sector that could have some, connection with those kinds of matters connected to marriage and the equivalent type of partnership. Now, the other thing too is that this could be your own within yourself, where you're tolerating a situation that you should really do something about. And because you're tolerating it, you put yourself in jeopardy. You put your health in jeopardy. And then you might have that crisis, what we call a healing crisis, where the body revolts, the body is trying to get rid of toxins and what have you. So it's very important, if you're listening to this and you don't have any of those things happening right now, to think about an area of your life where the Judgment card and the Tower card, which kind of might be a little bit similar in certain ways, could be applicable to you. Like, is there an area of your life where you feel like it's about to explode? It's just a matter of time. but you're afraid to take action for some reason. You're afraid to confront somebody that you need to, or at least just to have a talk with them. Um, and another, but the like I said, the Judgment card can be rebirth. The Tower card can be release, and so it can be liberating. So I don't want to make the Tower card seem ominous at all, because when I say something's got to give, it's like it reminds me of like a few days ago I heard a pop in the kitchen, and I went in there, and I was saying to my partner, like, what was that? And he couldn't figure it out. I couldn't figure it out. I went into the kitchen. I couldn't see anything. And then I looked again, and I saw that I had some kind of mason jar, which I had made a smoothie in. And it had gotten, misplaced or whatever. And I had put it in the sink to wash it, but I couldn't open it. And it, the little stopper just burst out, out of the fermentation of it. It just kind of like blew up. The whole jar didn't blow up, thank God, but that part did, because it was under pressure. But then I was able to open the mason jar, and it was a lot safer than if I would have tried to do so, not knowing that there was all this gas that was trapped in there. So you can see that there's a sense of liberation when you have that release of pressure. And by the way, that's why too the Judgment card can simply be, maybe you are waiting to get your divorce papers, and the Tower is simply that this is really turning your life upside down, but it still is this release. It's just showing maybe it was a very sudden thing. The Ace of Cups, new love. But I don't necessarily believe that this is just random new love that comes in the month of February. Again, this is the month where a lot of energy is in that fifth house, which can be love. But the Ace is the beginning stages of that. Pluto is in the beginning stages of Aquarius. So maybe this is that healing force that Pluto can be. But something may have been kind of like turned upside down as a result. Is it worth it? So you may say, yeah, it is worth it, because I wasn't happy in that situation. And then the last card is the Eight of Wands. This is a card of all systems are go, and this certainly represents all the planets having gone direct until April 1st, and that sense of momentum. And this is true for all of us because of that, because we've had all these retrogrades, and it's kind of like one step forward, two steps backwards, and now all systems are go. For you, the same thing. That's why I'm feeling like with that Judgment card that some of you are, and also too, I feel like the Judgment card for some of you can be understanding your own lack of judgment and how it led to the Tower moment. I remember I was looking through this one book, which I recommend if you want to learn the tarot and you don't know it. There's a book by a man named Anthony Lewis, and it's called Tarot Plain and Simple. And I can't find my copy, but because I would show you the cover, but it really has a lot of key phrases. And the nice thing about that is that you can grasp the concept of the card through these phrases. As a matter of fact, that all systems go, that might have come from his book, but I'm not sure. The point is with the Eight of Wands is that there is a sense of movement, maybe of back and forth, that maybe you're talking to somebody And I feel like if someone else, like if somebody cheated on you and you said, what was that? It's like it broke a spell. And then the judgment card came in and you started to say, what was I thinking? How could I possibly trust this person? And that the tower card could be a eureka moment, but I also feel like the tower card can be the shock of finding out something about a partner that you didn't know, that was not a wanted thing, but that has freed you. So that's what I have for you, Libra. I hope that this resonated. If you would like a private reading, the link is below. Take care. Bye.